So let us come to the next subtopic, and that is prime factorization. Now let us understand what is the meaning of this term prime factorization is. So let me write it down and then I'll explain you. Now let us understand the word prime relates to prime numbers, and factorization is what? It is writing a number as a product of two or more numbers. For example, let us see. Suppose we have 6. We can write 6 as 2 into 3. So what are we doing is, we are actually writing 6 as a product of 2 and 3. So the method which we use to write a number as a product of two or more numbers, this method is called as factorization. And if we use only prime numbers, then this method becomes prime factorization. So basically, prime factorization is the method in which we write a number as a product of two or more prime numbers. Okay, so we understand that prime factorization is basically writing a number as a product of two or more prime numbers. Now there are two methods to prime factorize a number. Let us understand the two methods. So I have written the two methods on the board. I have written the first method is factor tree method and the other is division method. Now let us see what happens in a factor tree method. Let's take a number that is 12. Now 12 can be factorized, can be written as 2 into 6. So what I have done is, I have written 12 as 2 into 6. I have circled 2 because it's a prime number, it cannot be factorized further. I have written 6 in a square bracket, in a square, because it can be factorized further. So 6 again can be factorized as 2 into 3 again. So what we have done is, we first factorize 12 as 2 into 6, then we further factorize 6 as 2 into 3. So ultimately, when we write 12, when we factorize 12, we get the value as 2 into 2 into 3. So this similarly, this 12 can also be factorized in another method also. Let us see that. We started with 2 here, now we'll start with 3. Now 12 can also be written as 3 into 4. So I've written 3 in circle because 3 cannot be further factorized, it's a prime number. I've written 4 in a square because 4 can be further factorized as 2 into 2. So ultimately we get the result as 3 into 2 into 2, which is similar as the first method. Okay, the answer is similar to the first method, only the process is a little different. So both ways we achieve the same result. So this is how we can factorize according to factor tree method. Okay, now this method is not so much in use, but still, to understand prime factorization, this is a very good method to understand the concept. Now let us come to division method. Let us see what we do in division method. So what we do is, first we take 2, okay, we always take prime numbers, okay. Remember, when we factorize, or if it is prime factorization, we always should take prime numbers. So here we have 12, we divided 12 with 2, we got 6, 6 again divided by 2, we got 3, okay. So therefore we can write 12 as 2 into 2 into 3. So this is what we do in division method. So this is how we find out in factor tree method, and this is how we do in division method. So that is what prime factorization is all about. Let us move on to the next subtopic, and that is highest common factor. Now let us understand this term, highest common factor. It is, in short, it is known as SCF. The other term of SCF is GCD, or greatest common divisor, but we basically know it as SCF, or highest common factor. Let us first understand this term. It contains 3 terms: highest, common and factor. So let us deal with it one by one. We have first, let us deal with factor first, okay. Now let's have 2 numbers, 12 and 8. So what we'll do is, we have already learned what factor is, and we have already learned how to find out factors. So we have, first we'll find out the factor of 8 and 12. So when we find out the factor of 8, we get 1, 2, 4 and 8 as the answer. Now we'll find out the factor of 12. So when we find out the factor of 12, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 and 12. Next comes common factor. So the first process what we have done, first step, we have found out the factor. Now in the second step, we'll find out the common factor. So what we'll do is, we'll circle out whatever common factors are there between 8 and 12. Okay, so the common factors are 1, 2 and 4, or we can say that these are the numbers which can divide 8 and 12 exactly. So that means 8 and 12 can be exactly divided by 1, 2 and 4. Next we come to highest common factor. So we have to check which number is the highest among the common factor. So if you see that, we get 4 as the answer. So SCF is 4. Okay, so this is how we find out SCF. So first we find out the factors, then we mark out the common factors, and then we check out which common factor is the greatest. So that gives us the SCF. So SCF is basically the greatest number which can divide each of the given numbers exactly. Let me write it down. So what is SCF? It is the greatest number that can divide each of the given numbers exactly. Okay, so out here the greatest number which can divide 8 and 12 exactly is 4. So that is why the SCF of 8 and 12 is 4. Now there are two methods to find out SCF. First is the prime factorization method and the second is the division method. Now let us see both. So we have prime factorization method and division method as the two methods to find out SCF of any given numbers. So first let us come to prime factorization method. So let's take 8 and 12 again. Okay. Now let us factorize the numbers. This is how we factorize 8. We first take 2. We divide 8 by 2, that gives us 4. Again 4 divided by 2 gives us 2. Now we factorize 12.